it's kind of like, I guess, Christmas in a way, when the first time when you open the gift and you see, someone's smile in their face and their enjoyment. And I mean, that's what is really, really special about, creating holiday cocktails. Just seeing people's face when they unwrap their very first little cocktail gift, and have their little holiday present.
Holidays, I usually stick with like dark liquors, bourbons. I'll break out the heavy cream. I'll break out the whipping cream and do like a Angostura whipped cream on top. Just a little more substance. It's hard in Texas because it's still 80 degrees, but more spice, cinnamon, less citrus really, and just heavier, bolder flavors.
I definitely like using seasonal ingredients that normally you don't get to use throughout the year. And I feel like since it's around the holidays and people tend to indulge a little more, then they also try things that they normally don't try. So I like to put fun ingredients, whether it be maple syrup, pecans, anything that reminds you of the holidays and the fall and the winter.
Taking classics and then switching them up. We do old-fashioned Christmas, which is basically a fireball old-fashioned. And when you add the sugar and bitters and soda, it kind of tones down the heavy cinnamon, and it's balanced, but it will warm you up inside. Once you know the classics, you can change something small, minor, and make an entire new drink, and I think that's awesome. I think that there are infinite possibilities for cocktails, so I try to not drink the same thing twice or make the same thing twice.
Other bartenders who've paved the way before me, whether it be a Charlotte Voicy or a Jeffrey Morgenthaler, just kind of inspired by some of the things that they do, and either try and make my own twist on some of their creations because they've been successful, and try and follow their footsteps. Basically, I usually start off with a classic cocktail. In this case, it was a whiskey sour. My parents around the holidays, they always make really nice apple pies, and so I wanted to incorporate apple flavor into the cocktail. So I use apple butter. So bourbon, whiskey reminds me of the winter. Apple, you have maple, and then mole bitters, had a little cinnamon, nutmeg, fall flavors. So basically, it's just a fun twist on a whiskey sour, and turned holiday.
Real kids.
I was inspired to make the Appletini 2.0 with the dive bar Appletini because my first cocktail ever was an Appletini way back in the aughts, and it was green and sticky and fluorescent, and I wanted to reinvent it into something that was actually palatable and delicious and perfect for the holidays. So I was working more along, inspired more by baked apple pie more than actual puckers or green Appletinis. So I went through a couple different variations, and this one we decided was the one. Very powerful, so use sparingly. It was actually, the Appletini is kind of my own personal joke too, because there's a lot of reinvention of the classics, the Prohibition drinks, the Sazeracs, the old fashions, things like that. And I think, really, in my opinion, the 90s were the heyday of drinking. I mean, the Martini Revolution. So when the Cosmo came out, you have the Appletini and all of that. So, if you're gonna reinvent a decade, I'd rather have the 90s. Those are the dates, man. Use the strainer so we don't get any of the apple pulp. Suspense.